Happy Friday and welcome to episode 213 of the weekly recap. It seems like lately we are up for a bunch of specials. As you can see, I have two special guests today. Rick is on the road. I'm on the road in Brazil, and we couldn't align our schedules. So, luckily it almost always works. But if not, we always have some great community members, my colleagues from product strategy that are jumping in to help me out with the recap. So great to have you, both of you here, Jochen, Julia. Let's start with Julia because I think this is her first time in the weekly recap. So would you like to introduce yourself, Julia?
Yes, hi everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Julia, and I'm a global technologist in the product strategy team at Veeam, and I handle most of the cloud products. So Veeam Backup for AWS, casting, now also Veeam Backup for Entra ID, and I'm love to be part of this community.
Thank you, Julia. And Johan, would you like to give an introduction of yourself? I'm sure the community knows you already. You've been in the recap before, but for
Yeah,
the ones that don't know, let's just,
sure.
let them know who you are.
Hey, everybody, and thanks for Maddie. Thanks to Maddie for inviting me once again. It's actually my second time in the weekly recap, and also I did a Veeam 100 show, so I was on air, let's say, a couple of times. But it's always a pleasure to be with you and to jump in if Rick doesn't have time or if your schedules don't align.
Yeah, and I think maybe because next week I'm going to be on vacation. So who knows? You might be up again for
Who
another
knows?
episode.
Who
Let's see.
knows?
Let's see how
It's a
that goes.
surprise.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
never know. It's a
Mhm.
surprise indeed. But yeah, that's good stuff. Thank you guys for helping out today, for jumping in. I would say because we have so much great content to share, a lot of things happened in the previous weeks. Last week we were not able to really record, but we did a recording at the Vimon with the community as well. So we have a lot to cover today. So I would say let's just jump in with the first article that comes from Marcus. Um, he's, all the time in our recaps now. Great job, Marcus. We like that you are engaging in here. And this time, he's writing about how to increase data domain capacity on a retention lock compliance system. And he put together a step-by-step guide on how to expand the capacity on a Dell data domain with retention lock compliance mode enabled. Now, I want to ask Jochen, uh, what does he think about this topic and about this article?
Well, first of all, it's always a pleasure to read an article of a fellow German Veeam Vanguard. So, congrats to Marcus on this one. Um, Actually, it's very interesting because retention lock on a data domain, of course, due to all the ransomware attacks in the last few years, it was a great feature that Veeam supported the retention lock feature of the data domain. So, to be able to get another piece of protection against those attacks. But of course, it most of the time the security comes with a price, and the price is mostly paid in data storage capacity. So it's always nice if we see someone who gives a little bit of insight how to get around that and how to get most out of your systems. And Marx does a great job here explaining how this is done, either via the GUI, which seems to have some problems. It's basically around changing out a license file, which then unlocks a little bit of more capacity. But as he wrote a little bit down in the article, when you come to the error message, so there will be a problem when you try to do this via the graphical user interface. And he does then give a great explanation on how to do this via the CLI, because I think most of the customers who would try it via the graphical interface first, they would come to the error messages and then be forced to open a ticket with Dell and see who can help them. And this is always the power of the Veeam community, when they then provide you with an answer on how to get around the issue without having to go through all the hassle of like uploading logs and explaining the problem and so on and so on. So he then goes on to really nice explanation on how to insert this via the command line, and then also to unlock the additional space on the system. I mean, in that case, it's actually, it doesn't seem like much, like from 50.9 terabytes to 58.2 terabytes, a little bit more down. But of course, the data domain is a deduplicating system, so inline deduplication system. So 8 terabytes are not 8 terabytes. 8 terabytes will get you a long way on a deduplication system if you count the real number. I think he does it a little bit down in the article. You can see again, file system capacity will be expanded by 7.28 terabytes. And it even shows it in the GUI. Then he uses Veeam to rescan the repository, then it always also shows up there. And then in the last sentences, he says around 40 terabytes are occupied on this data domain, with over 1 petabyte actually written and accessed. So you can imagine, if 40 terabytes refer to 1 petabyte in real life data, this is a lot of space saving, and 7 terabytes will get you a long way. But also, I mean, the last sentence should not be overlooked. I think it's very, very important, and I completely agree with Marcus on this one. I'm the data domain, or not. Let's not just limit it to this specific brand, but inline deduplication systems, in my opinion, and also in a lot of other fellow Vanguard opinions, should not be used as a first choice, as a primary target in Veeam, because as nice as they are for the space savings, and this is also what he says, use them as a secondary target, use them for long time retention, use it for data which you don't need to access frequently, because of course, if anything gets deduplicated and you need to read it again, you need to rehydrate all the data, and this just takes time. It's in the nature of the system. There's nobody to blame there. It's just, it is what it is. And that's why it's a lot of times it's a problem when you use something like virtual labs and instant recoveries and so on and so on. It's just the VMs get deployed pretty quickly, but actually to work with them and to be able to boot them up and so on and so on, it's just not a good match of random IO versus the inline deduplication systems. So there is, I mean, that's the nice thing about Veeam. There is a place for every system out there. There is a use case for everything. You just need to be aware of where and how you should use the different systems. And it's a great article from Marcus on just on how to show the community and how to show the world how to get even more out of your system. So great article.
Yeah.
Congrats to Marcus.
I agree, and you already answered my question, because I actually wanted to ask you if you agreed with if data domain should or should not be the first choice, when it comes to a primary backup target, and on a long-term retention. But you already did answer that question, so I'm gonna just move to Julia and ask her on her thoughts about this article.
Yeah, I really like the article. You can see there is a lot of engagement. So a lot of people also liked the article. Very helpful, because clearly you can tell that he faced a challenge and then he documented it and shared with the community. And things like this you don't see on the documentation, Dell's documentation. And this is invaluable, because people are gonna Google or the error they faced, and then they're gonna go to the community hub and see that other people have faced the same thing. So I find that this is very helpful. and very short, simple, straight article. So great job.
Yeah, I totally agree. And Marcus, don't worry. I can see you are starting. It's a bit older article. Don't worry. I think, like this type of subjects are going to be, useful anytime and actual, and people can still use the information. So good job. Thank you for sharing with us, Marcus. Keep on doing what you're doing because it's a great job. Moving forward to another guy that we see very often in our community
Oh
and
yeah.
posting a lot of good stuff. That's Jeff. He's a funny guy as well. Good to see you, as well as Marcus at Vimon a few weeks ago. This time he's talking about don't believe the hype, and what he means by that. Um, he's talking about AI in here, and he says AI is being implemented too fast, too soon, and being given too much control. Let's see now. That's a very controversial, interesting topic, I think, and everyone has an opinion. And what I agree with is like AI has been dominating the conversation at every single conference that I attended in the past couple of years. Uh, I think the discussion started like to be big at every conference, maybe 2022, the end of 2022, 2023. And I'm sure you guys have had the same experience. But yeah, every company, regardless of industry, seems eager to join this hype, implement AI in their products. And it almost feels like there is a collective FOMO. I don't know if you agree on that
Mm.
or not. Like, that a fear that if you don't jump in now, you either fall behind or just miss out on future profits. That's just my opinion on this conversation about AI. And I feel like it's exciting. It's all exciting, of course, and it it can be very useful from many points of view, but also raises questions about security and safety. And I think this is what Jeff is talking about in here. And he put together an article. There is a link right there with an article that is pretty good. So if you want to read more, you can just go and open that link. And one thing that I like is like in the comments. You have Chris Hermosel, and he says, that right now the European Union created a framework around this, and I think having legal frameworks can actually help mitigate some of the risks when it comes to AI. So hopefully that's going to happen. I don't know if it happened in the US as well or in other parts of the world. Of course, it's still a new topic. But I want to pick up your brain as well, Jochen, Julia, on this subject. What do you think?
Sure. I mostly agree with you. I mean, it's always the issue always arises when some sort of new technology comes up on the horizon and there's big money involved. As soon as there's big money involved, as you said, Maddie, it's just if you don't have some form of AI in your product, you're like 1980. Nobody wants to, or at least you have the perception of nobody wants to look at your product because you're not AI enabled. And it's actually, I mean, everybody of us, especially when you're working with IT, has used some form of AI to like automate some boring tasks or to look for something. And I think it's now also at the point where we have to be careful that we actually double check what the AI actually answers us. Because at the moment, I think okay, I'm going to ask, let's say, ChatGPT, wherever, because it's the most commonly known one, and you take everything for granted, which comes out of there. And this is, yeah, it can be scary. And also, I mean, the text-based AI we now got used to. Everybody knows it, everybody uses it, but I think yesterday or 2 days ago, I actually saw a video of an automated, like when you make a hotel reception, you call the hotel and you say, hey, I want to make a reception, not a reception, sorry, a reservation for a room, and my name is this and that, I want to stay from here and there. And the hotel agent was completely AI. They even like added little and so little pauses which a human always does, and it was really, I mean, I needed 1 or 2 minutes to actually hear that it's AI, because the little pauses were just, they were too automated. They were not like completely perfect. And right now, when you see a AI generated video, especially of humans, you can still see it. There's little hints, especially with the hands and so on. They sometimes look weird, but it's gonna get better and better and better. And yeah, all the fake stuff, you can create it, and the people who believe it, without a doubt, it is a scary technology, but it's also a very, very helpful technology. And to your point, Maddie, with the regulations, yes, I think there will be regulations, but I mean, we all know the internet, right? The internet has little to zero boundaries. So if one country or the European Union releases some form of regulation which prohibits the use of XYZ, then you just VPN to another country and so on and so on. There will always be ways around it when it comes to the digital world. So yeah, it's one of the most
A good
exciting
point.
technologies, but also it can be, it's with every technology. It can be used for the good, it can be used for the bad. And this is something we really need to watch out in the next few years.
Yeah, and I think we learned it. Yeah, as you said, like it can be used for good or bad. We learned it with social media. We learned it with the internet, right? So that's
Yeah.
true. We'll see what's going to happen with the AI as well. Yeah, good points. Totally agree. Julia, any thoughts on this?
Yeah, so I agree with what you both said. And at the beginning, when AI came up, I think we were using it mostly for, productivity tasks or simpler things. But now the problem is that they are integrating AI into core systems, and that's where the danger lies. You need humans looking at it, because for instance, if you want to reduce friction in a customer journey, AI might decide to downgrade certain security prompts. Or if the goal is to improve the system efficiency, it may start shutting down processes that it deems unnecessary without telling you. So those are the dangers that I think Jeff was mentioning in the article, that AI is going to start making decisions because we've asked them to do something. They're going to start making decisions without asking us that are important things that, like governance, safety, control, that we need to keep an eye out. So I think every time we need human oversight, independently of whatever AI does, to make sure that everything is in place. Otherwise, we can be creating single point of failure, or automating mistakes at scale. So the good thing of AI is there, but there is a lot of danger. So I think it's good that we have regulations coming. I'm sure, we have in Europe now. I'm sure in the US we'll have as well, in the whole world, because AI is pervasive. We're talking about AI everywhere. All the conferences I go to is AI, 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 AI all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
We were at Web Summit. We're gonna discuss a little bit later in this conversation, but it was so much about AI. They had a stage,
Hmm.
AI stage, right? And we both saw the Desi, the humanoid robot.
Exactly. Yeah.
I was part of that session. It was fun, engaging, but it was also a little bit like scary in a way. Because she was answering, people were asking questions and were asking questions about self-awareness and ethical and all that, and the questions seem to be almost like coming from a human, and where is all that gonna lead? So yeah, that's a conversation probably we could have for hours and hours, but yeah, we should also move on to our next article. Thank you, Jeff, for sharing that with us. Really great thoughts in there. And I'm sure we're going to talk more in this show and other shows about AI. So let's go further to Mary. Once again, she's posting on the Veeam app for Splunk. Really good. She's a huge fan of Splunk. So uh, I mean, I get it why. It's a really great tool that allows Veeam Data Platform Advanced and Premium customer to monitor the health, the security status of your Veeam backup infrastructure, and I think it really gives great value because you have like a lot of features in it, built-in reports, alerts, uh, like a multiple data source location support, app configuration backup, so many things that comes with this app. But this is a great article again, Mary, and thank you for putting it together. I know you like to customize it depending on what you need. We actually discussed it at Veeam. We had a discussion around this, so very interesting. I want to ask Jochen what's his takeaway on this article and on the Veeam app for Splunk.
It seems to be a trend that every time I come to the community recap, I hit an article about Splunk, and I always like, damn, I don't know Splunk a lot. But every time I hit one, but it's actually, and please forgive me if I say anything which is not correct in the context of Splunk. I just did my disclaimer. I'm not a Splunk expert, but the article is really nice because it's you don't have to be a Splunk expert to know what she's talking about, what the benefit is. There's actually a dedicated Veeam Splunk app which you can incorporate into your dashboards and so on. And this app is capable of interpreting the messages more granularly or better than other apps. And she's actually asking, or she's actually showing a way how to how to use the data which the Veeam app can extract from the data stream or from the events, how you can use this data or this enrichment, as she nicely calls it, from the Veeam app into other apps which are on your Splunk for whatever reason you need it. And this is actually another great article, I think, for the community, because it just shows how you can get it done and how you can use the data which Veeam shares with Splunk. Again, please excuse me if I'm saying anything stupid in this context, but how to make more out of the data which Veeam can provide using the logic or the requests or whatever you call it, which the Veeam app for Splunk has built in. So yeah, it's a great article, and also
So
very short to the point.
if anyone has to forgive us for saying something stupid in here, is Mary, because she's the huge fan and the
Yeah.
expert in here. So Mary, please forgive us if we say anything that is not right. But thank you very much for sharing this with us. Julia, any thoughts on it?
Just the first thought is I love when women create content on the community hub and engage with the community hub. Mary, keep going and keep, writing more articles. This one is great. And it just shows, the value of the Veeam app for Splunk, that you can, use it in environments with multiple Splunk apps and teams. And also it reflects how flexible our platform is. So really great job, and technical, again, short to the point, helpful to everyone that uses Splunk and also Veeam app for Splunk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm sure there's going to be more coming from Mary because she's working on this and she loves it. And it's not going to be only Mary because we are putting together something, but we are not announcing it yet. So we're going to have more women in the community.
Secret.
So yeah, that's a still secret for now. Okay. Moving forward now to another section, the Vanguard blog spotlight. This time we have Petr, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, from Czech Republic. He's one of the new vanguards in our program. So first of all, congratulations of being in the program, Petra, because I didn't have the opportunity to say it so far. I think this is the first time we are actually mentioning Petra as well. And this article is pretty straightforward and, like for any person that just begins now learning about Microsoft Entra ID backup and recovery options. He covers, the two types of backup tasks, Entra ID tenant and Entra ID logs. He goes over recovery options, solution architecture, required permission in Entra ID, licensing, and then he even shows us how to configure Veeam backup for Microsoft Entra ID. But now I'm going to start with you, Julia, because I know you've been working quite heavily on this Entra ID subject lately.
Product.
So
Yes.
yeah. So
So I
why don't
love this
you?
article. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry.
Why don't you comment on it?
I love the article. He dove really deep into Vim Backup for Entra ID in VDP. So right now at Vimon, we also released the Vim Backup for Entra ID in VDC, which is our SaaS offering. But this is a great article because not only he talked about, what we can back up and the licensing, but also he covered potential issues like when your PostgreSQL database is not set up correctly, which can disrupt adding, the Entra ID tenant. So he went over some challenges that people might face when they are starting out implementing this solution. And I love it also because it's really important to back up your Entra ID objects. People often think that if they're using the cloud or if their environments are in the cloud, they are protected. But again, we talk so much about shared responsibility model. You have to protect your identity management, everything. And for instance, if you're using M365, you have Entra ID objects, you have Entra ID tenants, so you have to back them up. And Petra did a great job, very, very detailed. And I'm gonna talk to him. I'm gonna connect with him to maybe create some content about Entra ID because looks like he knows a lot about that.
Yeah, that's great. And Johan, what's your takeaway on this article, but in general on the Entra ID? What do you think, like from your
Yeah,
experience?
I totally agree with Julia. It seems like we have the M365 discussion from a few years ago. We have that now over and over with Entra ID because when M365 got big, everybody was like, Microsoft is going to take care of it. I don't have to back it up, and so on and so on. Now we have the next workload, the Entra ID backup, and we basically start from scratch. So what I really like about the article is that it's one of the newest workloads that Veeam can back up. So there's not a heap of information out there until now. So, and it's always nice when there's a new article coming out, which really, as Julia said, does a deep dive on the issue and really also he talks about what permissions do you need, what components is used, and so on. It's a really deep dive until the troubleshooting at the end. So it's always nice because basically, everybody or I think most of the people know how to back up and restore VMs. This workload has been around for decades, and there's tons and tons and tons of articles around it. You can find everything. Actually, it's oftentimes you spend too much time looking for the right answer because there's too much content around that until you find the right one. So it's always nice to have a article about a new workload, which not a lot of people have looked at in detail and so on. But From my perspective, I think the Entra ID backup will be more present in the VDC world than in the VDP world. Um, I mean, it depends. If a customer has, it's nice to have the option to have both. Although I do not agree with the licensing terms in the VDP world, but that's another story. Um, but I think when a customer has already some VDC workloads going, M365, Vault, Azure, whatever, he will just add the Entra ID backup and be done with it. But it's nice to for customers who do not want or have another solution for their M365 backup, that they can also use their on-premise Veeam system to back up the Entra ID, and they just have to talk to their sales representative if they can get a better quote.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's interesting point of view. Yeah, thank you. Thank you both for that, and thank you, Peter, for putting this together. Great to have you in the recap. Hopefully, we're gonna have you more often. And yeah, wait on Julia. She seems like she's going to contact you and work with you. Good. Yeah, good stuff. So let's move to our next section, which is the special department news. And the first stop, Blog of the Month, April 2025 winner. Congratulations, Marcel. I think this is really the first time when you are posting at the community hub. He's also German, Johan. You'd be happy to. Oh, no, he's not. He's Slovakian.
No.
He's Slovakian.
Oh,
He's not German. Okay.
still cool.
Okay, he's Slovakian. But yeah, first time he's posting, I think, at the community hub, and look at him. He got most of the votes in there, 13 votes. So he got a badge, Blogger of the Month. So hopefully we'll see you more often. It seems like the community appreciates, values what you are doing, what you are talking about. So good job. Moving forward, we have a lot of great Veeam user group in-person events happening this month as well, virtual. Um, we are now recording on a Tuesday, but yeah, today there was one in Turkey as well. Really good attendance. That was a virtual one. And today I think we have a bunch as well. One of them, Julia and
In
myself, we're
Brazil.
going to attend in Brazil. We are here in Sao Paulo, so we're going to attend. We're going to let you know how that it's turning out. But next week we have VUG Italy meetup. Thank you, Antonio and Marco for putting this together, and the Veeam team in there. So that's going to be in Bologna. And yeah, you still have time to register if you haven't done so. The next one, VUG Finland, is also going to be an in-person event that's going to be in Tampere. I think Edwin, our colleague, is going to be there. He's going to have a session as well. And thank you, Miko and Vil, for putting this together. You guys are rocking it. So fantastic. Also, you have time to register May 15. All these three that we are presenting today are going to be on May 15. VUG USA, Shane in Kansas, he's also putting together one. So thank you for that. So if you are in Kansas, you want to attend the Veeam user group, you know where to go, to the community hub page and register in there. There's still time for you as well. And yeah, as we said, today we're gonna attend the VUG Brazil one in Sao Paulo. So we'll let you know how that goes. Maybe I'm gonna share some pictures as well in the next recaps. Not next week because Jochen might replace me, but the week after. So great stuff, really great stuff. Last but not least, Julia, we were at the Web Summit in Rio last week, and we had a good time in there. There was the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. It was a good event, a bit overwhelming, but I'll let you talk a little bit about experience. What I'm going to do, I'm going to talk a little bit about my favorite sessions. So,
Yeah. So yeah, overwhelming, and I would say the exact word is intense. It was very intense. There were more than 44,000 people, 45,000, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was, I think, the biggest. I'm not sure how many people go to reinvent, but probably, similar. But it was just overwhelming as well because there were several topics discussed there. So they were talking about obviously AI, crypto, Web3, about marketing, content creation, about fintech. There were a lot of startups presenting there. There were also investor sessions. There were master classes. There were the talks at the main stage, and there were, I think, like six other stages. So it was really hard. The first day I didn't know what to do because I went without expectations. I didn't know where to go, who to talk to, what I wanted to learn. And I needed to, I stayed, I think, in the bathroom for 20 minutes because I needed to breathe a little bit. It was too much. And I think next time, if I end up going again, I will go with like intent. I will plan ahead. Oh, these are the things I want to learn. These are the sessions I want to go to. Otherwise, I would say it's overwhelming. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I totally agree with what you are saying. We were there actually for the Women in Tech component. And I feel like it's a missed opportunity because that is not that developed as we thought. Also, the community stage or area was also like I didn't see that many people gathering there, and not too many talks. Like on the women in tech, diversity, equity. These type of topics. There were some, but the ones that I wanted to attend, they said initially they're gonna be in English. That's how they put it in the agenda, but they end up to be in Portuguese. So I did not attend those. But one thing I actually put together, the second part of this is about my favorite session. So I picked like I think five sessions from different stages, because there was an AI stage, there was a fintech stage, there was a marketing stage, there was a media stage, so many stages, as you said, pretty overwhelming. And the main stage, I only attended one at the main stage, and where you had Ivete Sangalo, who's a Brazilian famous singer in here. We had the Aloe Black, who's the singer of I Need a Dollar and Wake Me Up. So he did like some singing as
Performance.
well, which
Yeah.
was it was pretty good. That session, it was around AI as well, but it ended up to be very engaging. But my favorite stage, I must say, it was the fintech, because I like cryptocurrency and blockchain topics. So I put together here on it's the second, but it's actually my favorite session. It was a panel called Cryptopia, and it was four people, Marcelo, Reynaldo, Kathleen, and there was the moderator as well. And they were discussing about the adoption of blockchain and cryptocurrencies in Latin America. And they were talking about how the pro administration in the US is going to influence the adoption on a global level. But one of my favorite, really my favorite point was from Marcelo Sampaio. And he says, you should view crypto as a phenomenon and not something to take too seriously just yet, just something to observe and to explore and understand. And to just look at the potential utility that could have for you in the future. And I couldn't agree more with that, because this can this can transform in such a big way. Think about the internet, from when it started to where it where we are today with the internet. Same, he was saying that in 2001 he was working for Microsoft, and they were already talking about AI. And it was just like, imagine a conversation about AI in 2001 and where we are today with the AI. So I think this was definitely my favorite conversation. There were so many good points in it. And one of the points that I made as you can see there in green, is should Veeam explore the world of cryptocurrency and blockchain? And probably when it comes to data trust, immutability, compliance, I think there is a lot of potential in there. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that. Jochen, any thoughts? How much are you into this world? Interested in this world of blockchain, cryptocurrencies? What do you think? Would Veeam have a place in this world or not?
His face
Just
says
I'm
everything.
I'm completely I'm completely annoyed that I didn't go into it a few years back. I mean,
okay.
I'm a couple of
Okay.
years old. I would have had the chance for it, but no, I didn't, and I'm still could kick myself for that. I I'm not so deep into the topic, but what I don't like about it is that and now I'm not talking about blockchain technology itself, but about cryptocurrency, that it got such a bad taste because there were so many the small pump and dumps, the meme coins and so on. So many people got ripped off during this hype of the cryptocurrency because yeah, it was always the same thing. Yeah, we have the next big thing, and you're gonna be earning tens of thousands of percent of your money back, and so on and so on. We all know the scams, and they work just way too often. And this is why I think it has a bit of a bitter taste in my mouth. But there's definitely room for blockchain, and there's definitely technical possibilities when it comes to blockchain technology. I actually never thought about if Veeam uh, could 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 benefit from implementing blockchain at what point. I don't think I'm qualified to answer on your thought. I
Maybe a
wouldn't.
question to think of, maybe
Yeah,
something to
maybe.
think of. Yeah.
Yeah.
But to your point, I agree with what you are saying. A lot of people lost a lot of money, but a good point in this session was, crypto should be viewed less as a vehicle of price speculation, but
Yeah.
more like a driver for technological innovation. So I put that line in there. And I think this is very powerful, and people should look at it more from that respect. And to your point, you are saying like, you should have done more in this respect few years ago. To Marcelo's point, it's just in infancy. There is still so much opportunity in there. So, and I agree with that. I totally agree. But yeah, I could talk hours and hours about these subjects because I really like it. But I think we should probably close because we are. I think already 50 minutes. But that's
Yeah.
great. It means that the conversation was really good. And yes, you put together an article, I put together
Okay.
two
Yeah,
articles as
two.
well. So if people are interested in reading more about it, they want to, in the future attend, see what's the value, see what are the topics, see if it's worth attending it. But yeah, overall, it was a really good event for us, and I'm glad we attended. Would I go again? I don't know. But yeah, good pictures for sure. I was standing there. So yeah, I just want to thank you both for taking the time to be part of the show today. Do you have any final thoughts to close this show with?
I'm just happy that on Julia's article you didn't scroll down to the picture of Desmodona or the robot. This picture is scary. It was,
It is, it is.
yeah,
She is scary. Well, I don't know if we can call
yeah,
the
whatever.
robot,
It,
yeah.
yes.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it's scary, it's creepy. And yeah, no, just ending thoughts were thank you for the opportunity. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
It's
same for
always
me.
fun. It's always fun. The recap is
It was
always
my
fun.
first time, yeah.
Well, hopefully it's not going to be the last. So yeah,
Hmm.
I hope that everyone that watched us today enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed it to record. And as I said, next week I will be on vacation. Most probably Jochen is going to replace me. He's going to do another recap with Rick, but wait for the surprise. We don't know yet. And yeah, have an awesome weekend, community, and see you next time.
See you.